Howdy folks, Spencer here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the latest batch of news for STO on both PC and console. Chapters will be listed down below if you want to skip ahead to other topics. So I'm going to be starting off with console here first, and most of the stuff you guys have being announced are things we got on PC about a month ago. And to start off here, we have the Elite Bridge Officer Training Token. These are tokens that will let you upgrade your bridge officers to increase them to ultra rare quality, which will upgrade all of their inherent traits to the maximum rank possible for that trait. So not every trait has a superior version. A lot of the ones that you would hope for, like the Kentari, the Vanguards, things like that, their space traits don't have superior versions. So this ended up being quite disappointing for a lot of us that did try these tokens out, because the traits that we wanted to upgrade were not upgradable. The biggest benefit to these Elite Bridge Officer training tokens ended up being that you would automatically learn all standard Bridge Officer abilities on the Bridge Officer when you used the Elite Bridge Officer token on it. And what that means is that if you have a Bridge Officer like a Science here, all of the generic abilities for that profession, so Science in this case, were trained up, even the rank 3s. However, any bridge officer abilities that come from lockboxes, fleet holdings, or specializations are not trained up from this, so this is only handy if you want to get the very basic abilities just automatically trained up on your bridge officer. And of course, that's just a nice little quality of life thing. That's not that huge. That is something you can go in and do for just a few million energy credits and a little bit of time. And then you get a kit frame slot on the bridge officer. This allows you to run a wider selection of sets on the bridge officer. However, you do not get any kit module slots on the bridge officer, so just keep that in mind. You get a ground trait slot for the bridge officer, and you get an extra device slot on the bridge officer. So to summarize this, this is basically a way for you to upgrade your bridge officer's ground performance, and it ended up being quite underwhelming. So if you're somebody that does a lot of story missions or does a lot of the adventure or battle zones where you can bring your bridge officer in, maybe consider it. But if you don't do that type of stuff, then this is something you can skip over. Then we have the Discovery Uneasy Allies lockbox and the Courier Pilot Raider. I've got videos going over both of these that I'll link at the top right and in the description down below if you want to check that out. But going back and looking at this lockbox now, over a month and a half later, there were two takeaways from this lockbox. The first is the console, the Uneasy Allies Universal Console, the Micro Dark Matter Anomaly. This ended up being a decent EPG console for some science builds. And on the trait side of things, Independent Wingmate has stayed insanely high in value because it's a really large hanger pet boost, and I can go in game and show you it quick. So one downside to this, so Independent Wingmate here, the very first pet you launch from your ship gets a 200% damage boost. That is Cat 2, and a plus 200 boost to their resistance rating. The issue with this trait is that it launched bugged, and the way it works is if you have a ship with one hangar bay, you're boosting the very first pet you launch. So with these fighter squadrons, the first of the 6 that I launched gets the boost. Now, there was a bug where if you had a ship with 2 hangar bays, and you had them both set to auto launch and they launched at the exact same time, the first pet from both bay was getting the boost. That is not intended. The trait is meant to boost a single pet from a single hangar bay, even if you have 2 hangar bays. So this trait is not the best with fighter squadrons. It will, of course, boost one of the fighter squadrons up, but I would highly recommend picking up Independent Wingmate only if you are interested in boosting like a frigate type pet. It ended up being a really large boost for like the Romulan drone ships on the Scimitar, so If you like to use frigates, independent wingmate is probably a solid pickup. But fighter squadrons, I don't know if it's necessarily worth it in that case, especially if you have 2 hangar bays. And let me see what it is at here now. 125 mil. So yeah, this trait is the only reason people are really opening that lockbox now. So its price is just drastically higher than everything else. The Emperor's Will event's coming to console starting on November 1st. Will run through December 1st. And this is another Upiter Erratus event. You do it for 20 days, and you get the Terran Somerville Scout Ship. Now, this is a 3-3 science ship, but it is fairly solid. And STO actually has some really nice build videos for it at a variety of budget levels, so I would say to go through and check out the builds he's done with it. Because of how flexible the bridge officer seating on it is, it's actually really capable because it's got all of these universal seats. So for a science build, it's very good. For torpedoes, it's going to be a bit weaker with that 3-3 setup. And if you're doing energy weapons, you know, it's a 3-3 setup. It's not going to be the best ship for you. And last bit of console news here is a 35% sale on legendary items and a return of the 10th anniversary bundle from today through November 1st. So if you've been waiting for the 10th anniversary bundle on console, here's your time to go and grab it. So definitely go out and pick that up if you have not already gotten the 10th anniversary bundle. There's a lot of content in that bundle. It is $200, but you're getting most of the big name ships from the game here. And heading over to PC, we have a 20% ship sale, and this was announced with the Norway last week, but I'm going to tell you right now, unless you need a ship today, just wait. You know, we are a month out from Black Friday, and last year for Black Friday, they did a 25% sale off everything in the C-store, and they did a 20% Zen charge bonus. So you're going to get a better sale at Black Friday, and there's going to be a Zen charge bonus. Just wait. But if you do have something that you want to get right now, then this sale is active from today through November 1st. But if you can wait a month, wait a month. And then the PC side had patch notes today for just a couple fixes. They updated the Witch's Brew Patrol to make sure it pops up the reward selection at the correct point. Before, it wouldn't pop up the rewards until you left the map. So that's a nice fix. And then they updated the visuals of the Peregrine fighters. And Titus 17 has some pictures to compare here. Below is how they looked before, and above is the remaster. This remaster was done on the side from the dev that worked on the new Valkyrie fighters, so they went through and had some time to go in and update this model, and they decided to do so. So that is appreciated, and it definitely looks a bit more modern now. Now, the only other bit of news for today is that the Norway's out. The Norway and Seneca have been released, and I'm going to get some testing done, you know, and see whether or not every aspect of it is worth it. But from the initial testing on these Valkyrie fighters from some folks over in the Builds Discord, let me pull that up here. The initial testing is a bit disappointing. So for those of you that were hoping that these new Valkyrie fighter squadrons were going to be the next best thing for pet DPS, unfortunately, the rare Toduge still outperform them. I think the numbers being tossed around were that the rare Toduge are still 20 to 30% better than these things. And these elite Valkyrie fighter squadrons and the Valkyrie fighter squadrons for all ranks of them are basically equal to the Alliance fighter squadrons that we got earlier this year. So between the two, I would personally rather run the Alliance ones because they don't have torpedoes, but apparently these Valkyries do spam torpedoes quite a bit. So that might be nice for some of y'all's immersion. But that's going to be it for the news today. There's going to be some reviews coming up and breakdowns of the Norway from myself and others, I imagine, over the next few days. The Builds Discord is coming up on its 1-year anniversary, so we're going to be doing some giveaways over there. I've got some ships that have been donated to me that I'm going to be using for those giveaways. And I think that's pretty much it. So I'll be doing a stream this weekend on Saturday. I haven't figured out an exact time yet, but there will be some giveaways on that stream. Probably a Lobby ship. And then we'll see what else as time gets a bit closer. So that's going to be it for me today. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.